Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. We're going to talk about Duane Allman today and his playing, and try to break down some of his approach to the instrument, and I'll as far as his slide playing is concerned anyway. And I got a couple of exercises that might help get you there faster. So stick around. We're going to deep dive into how Duane gets that sound, and maybe clear up some of the mysteries behind that. All right, so stick around. I'll be right back. So, yeah, Duane had a particular style of playing that was different than anybody at the time. I mean, there were guys that, would come to see him, the likes of, like, at that time, Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page. Of course, he played with all these guys, too, later on. But his slide playing really set him above and beyond a lot of the guitar players that were out there at the time. The old Delta style, slide players, he, listened to a lot. And just, he really loved the blues, and he played all the time, and that's just what happened, just kind of developed out of that. And he was influenced also by B.B. King. And if you think about B.B. King, if you talk to him, he was influenced by singers. The singing voice doesn't always hit a perfect note like a piano. If you hit a C on a piano, it's a C, right? With a human voice, if you're going to hit a note, a C, for instance, it's staccato, right? So then, but for slide guitar, it's, you kind of slide into it and slide out of it. So that's where Duane's mystery kind of revolves around that. So we're in open E tuning, and we're going to kind of concentrate this lesson in the key of D, which is one of Duane's favorite keys. That's where Statesboro Blues was, and a lot of other iconic Allman Brothers tunes. And he played predominantly in open E tuning. Okay, there was a couple of songs that he did that were in standard tuning, but he pretty much liked that open E tuning thing. I wanted to mention something. The Delta blues, like the Leland, Mississippi area blues cats, like the in Louisiana cats, like Lead Belly and Muddy Waters and Robert Johnson, and all those really the guys that beat down the path for everybody. That's where this all came from. If it wasn't for those guys, I wouldn't even be doing this lesson right now. And Duane wouldn't have developed into the kind of slide player he was. Also, I wanted to mention the more contemporary players too, like Derek Trucks and Warren Haynes and Of course, Johnny Winter, but he was more of a Delta blues guy. He kind of embraced that traditional style of slide. And then there's Lowell from Little Feat. There's a lot of guys, Sonny Landreth, but they all have their own style, and I guess that's where I'm going with this. Is I want to have my own style too. I emulate a lot of Duane's stuff, as does at first Derek Trucks. He did a lot of Duane. That was his guy, just like Duane's my guy. And Warren Haynes, he's got all those cool Duane Allman licks down too. But you want to develop your own voice and your own style. One of the things that you can do is just the mechanics of playing slide in that fashion, in that style, is hitting one note at a time. Okay? You can't have a whole bunch of stuff ringing out. And that's what happens with a lot of slide playing, is you get that sloppiness, that sloppy kind of sound, and you want to practice muting all the notes that you don't want to hear. And a good way to do that is to keep it simple. Let's just take our thumb and let's put it on the instrument, and just take, in this D position, just take this primary, okay, let's take the primary D line, okay, and say, just go down. Okay, go back up again. All right, so what you're doing here, hopefully, is you're muting everything. Hopefully it doesn't sound like this. You want it to be kind of staccato, right? And then move it up. See, I'm doing it. It's not an easy thing to do. So that's one exercise. That's in its simplest form. That would be the first exercise. The next exercise is to take from the same position, starting point, and go up 2 frets on the 6th string. Okay, and then follow that all the way to the 1st string. You're just using this portion of you're using everything between the 8th fret and the 10th fret. That's where just about all of Duane Allman's licks come from. And if you, not to say that that's the only place he goes, it's not, but for this exercise, we can stay in that zone, in that 8 to 10, okay, fret range, which, is 12 notes essentially. Now, if you notice my right hand, I'm muting these notes with my thumb right here, and then I'm moving up as I go. So take that exercise and run it up and down the entire fretboard. It's going to be ugly for a while, kind of like it's sounding right now, but you can clean it up. The better you get at this, obviously the more clean it's going to be. So you want to make sure that those notes ring out nice and clean is the primary goal here. Okay, so that's basically using my thumb. Okay, now what I would like you to do is try to use your index finger and your thumb, and all right. So now I'm muting with the palm of my hand right here. So that exercise would, what that's doing is it's incorporating the two fingers so that you can play some licks, because I want to show you a couple of licks here too. Okay, and then you can run that across the fretboard as well, across 8, 8, and 10. Follow me? And do it as slow as you need to keep those notes clean. That's the biggest thing. Okay, so those two exercises, the single note and the two note, I'll call it a word-a-little. How's that? Those two exercises will help develop your hand coordination to mute the notes so that they come off not sounding extra notes. Okay, you don't want any extra notes. So here's a lick that you can try once you get that down. And it's just using your index finger and your thumb. You notice that my thumb muted the previous note. It's not, it's, so you can do it both ways. That's a nice thing about slide, is there's a lot of backward and forward interaction. Sometimes you want extra notes. That chord's kind of cool to end a phrase, right? So, anyway, so that's those are my 2 exercises. I think that those are going to get you guys ahead of the competition out there. If you just learn to isolate with your right hand, learn to isolate those notes, and you'll discover that a lot of these licks are going to come to you, like the one that I showed you. You can hear that one lick in itself compiles 10 licks. Just that one. So enjoy and practice well, and we'll talk to you guys next time at Tim's Guitar World. You guys have a great day. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video and like to see more, hit the link provided here. If you're not subscribed to my channel, I would urge you to do so and quit screwing around.